617-980-4729.
Unice Productions
Invites you to their annual International Togetherness Boat Ride.
Look at how it are.
JP Morgan Chase is making a global commitment to break down barriers to drive inclusive economic growth all over the world. We believe there is a pressing need to help more people move up the economic ladder. That is why we are investing in communities and people to create an economy that works for all, because no community should be left behind. Right here in Boston, we're focusing that work in Dorchester, Roxbury, and Mattapan, among other neighborhoods, on improving financial health. These efforts aim to address the key drivers of the racial wealth divide head-on. We're here to empower individuals, families, and small businesses by connecting them to the tools that build generational wealth and a long-lasting legacy. Chase is investing in Boston. Chase is investing in you. Visit us at the Mattapan branch at 1617 Blue Hill Avenue, where the team is waiting to help.
Attention, gentlemen. Are you looking for a suit that will make you look sharp and feel confident? Look no further than Allen's Formal Wear, a Boston legacy business. Our expert staff will help you find the perfect suit for any occasion. With a wide selection of colors, styles, and sizes, we have something for everyone. And the best part, our affordable prices won't break the bank. So why settle for a mediocre suit when you can stand out in Allen's Formal Wear? Visit us today at 594 Blue Hill Ave, Dorchester, or allensformalwear.com to book an appointment. Visit us today at 594 Blue Hill Ave, Dorchester, or Allens, ALLANS, formalwear.com to book an appointment. Allen's Formal Wear. We are dressing you for success.
All right, ladies and gentlemen, you guys can hear me fine? Just want to make sure everyone can hear me fine. Hope y'all doing good. You know what I'm saying? First off, can everybody hear me good? All right. I just want to make sure. I know everybody can hear me. Okay, good. Shout out to everybody tuning in. Yes. Come on in. It's story time. This is part 3. So I do appreciate everyone that has been tuning in from part 1 all the way to part 2. So now it's part 3. So I really do appreciate everybody tuning in. Thank you so much. Now, shout out to Hot Sauce the Boss. Shout out to whole, the Spark FM fam. You already know. Now, it's just to catch everybody up, if this is your first time tuning in, I did get arrested down in Georgia. Got pulled over. They said that I was speeding. Then they said they had probable cause to search my vehicle. Then they hit me with a felony saying that I have substance in my car. Got in there in a week and a half. Try to get a bail bondsman to lower it down from $8,000. Got him lowering it down to $2,000. Got out. Then they said that I stole my own property off the booking table, and they had somebody else's property on the booking table, which never is going to make sense to me, because why do you have somebody else's property where I'm being let out? And where is this somebody? Like, either way, threatened for me to bring the property back. I had someone bring the property back. They still arrested me, saying they had a warrant for my arrest. Got back in there and was in there for a couple of more weeks, and they wouldn't let me out on bail. Even though when I looked up some of the Georgia like laws and how they do stuff down there, because they make up their own laws and stuff, we had this tablet. It was an Android tablet, and with that tablet, you can do some courses to get some points to listen to music or watch movies. Either way, you got to come up some way so they can get their money. Anyways, sometimes I would go through some of their law stuff, and it had in there that if you have, it's called theft by taking. And if you have anything that you have stolen is worth under $300, you should be able, it's called to OR yourself and walk on out. But they wouldn't let me do that. They kept saying that I couldn't do that and that I can't get another bond because I was already out on bail. So, whole bunch of craziness. now I've been still trying to talk to a few people. Some people have thrown a few lawyers and attorneys my way, and the thing with that is it's either out of their jurisdiction, or they don't deal with criminal law, or you know what I'm saying, they just really don't want to deal with it because it's in Georgia, which is still like, it's crazy. And everybody that I'm talking to, when it comes to dealing with like attorneys and lawyers, even my own probation officer, they're all saying like Georgia has their own set of laws. So it's like, even with me being on probation, it's crazy because it's like my probation is up here, and they're like, oh, well, we're not going to do everything that it says on your probation. We still have to listen to Georgia, but they didn't put everything that's on the probation. I'm not doing every single thing on there, and they're saying half of the stuff is up to Georgia. So it's just a back and forth. And then Georgia still hasn't sent up all of my papers. So it's crazy. But I know a lot of people are still wondering about some other stuff. So I said, we might as well get on into it. It's part 3. I got a lot of stuff, not too much, you know what I'm saying? But, story time. So I'm going to try to make it as much as entertaining that I can, with still letting y'all know what's going on, even behind Jones County Jail. And then I got to say, free my homie Kiki. Free my homie Kiki. Y'all know in part 2 when I was talking about part 2 and part 1 when I was talking about how Kiki held me down, you know what I'm saying, with the draws and all that. They done got her. Jones County Jail done took her back, bro. Her probation officer feels like she's not doing, what she's supposed to be doing when she has all of her receipts. She has letters, recommendations saying everything that she is doing, following her probation. They got her. Jones County done got her. Free my homie Kiki, man. For real. Y'all gotta listen. Kiki really held me down when I was in there. So, bro, and I know last week we were saying what's up to Kiki, and she joined the live. Like, she had to turn herself in because Jones County, I'm trying to tell y'all, Jones County Jail is a different type of jail. They really got their own rules. So it's like, even with her going back in, that puts, for me, that's even more like paranoid. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, of course I'm going to get even more paranoid. Like, that PTSD stuff is real. You know what I'm talking about? So now it's like, dang, if they can just, once you in Jones County Jail, and I will never forget, when I was in there, Kiki was definitely like, because that wasn't her first time there. She was telling me like, yo, they had little stuff like, that's bad luck. Don't write your name on anything in there. Don't leave any of your socks or any of your clothing that you went in there. Don't leave it in there. Like, they were saying certain things that I was starting to do, or, you know what I'm saying? It's like, nah, don't do that, because they feel like that's kind of like bad luck, making it seem like you're going to come back. So they don't want you to put your name like, oh, such and such was here, because they feel like that's like bad luck and making you go right back. And she was like, she did that, and a couple of other people did that, and they ended up back in there. She's like, it's something about that jail, man. Once they get you there, that's it. It's like they got a hold of you. They can do whatever they want. It's up to them. And that's why I'm trying to tell y'all, like, it's different being locked up in like here, you know what I'm saying, versus being locked up in a whole country state where you got the officers got Confederate flags on, and there's Confederate flags everywhere and stuff like that. Like, it's not the same. It's not the same type of jail. Like, we're not going through the same type of thing that we go up here, because up here it's all about women. You know what I'm saying? We got women's rights, we got gay rights, we got all that. They don't care about none of that down there. They don't care, not even an ounce, about none of that down there. And then when I was down there, that's when I just really realized, like, yeah, they making their own rules. They coming up with their own stuff. Because I was in there, and they had me in there with 2 different names. So when people were calling, there was no record of either me being there, or they were saying, oh, I was only in there for 1 or 2 days. They have a right to hold me for 180 days. Like, that's what they telling my people. And then the same time, they're telling, you know what I'm saying, there was one officer in there, shout out to New York. I said I wasn't going to say his name, but I called him New York, and he was actually from Brownsville. And he was the first one that told me, he was like, yeah, you got to stay low, man. Keep your head down. They don't like you in here. I'm like, what? He was like, yeah, they calling you Boston, like they labeling you. And he's like, you know, I'm from up top, so, you know. And I'm like, man, good looking out. And he was like, yeah. I'm like, listen, but to me, y'all all still got the same uniform on. So either way, you still on that side. Like, you could be kind of cool, but you still on that side. But he was the main one. Like, every time when he was on the block, he would be the main one to serve us first. Serve the women first before he served the men. Everybody else, they go serve the men. They go serve the people in solitude, and then go serve everybody else. And then they come to us. By the time they get to the women, the food is cold, and then they only give us 5-10 minutes, half the time that we're actually supposed to eat, because by the time they get to us, everybody else is done eating. So they go get their stuff, and they come back around, and they come ready to get ours, and we're like, wait a minute, chill. Like, we just started eating. So shout out to him, but free Kiki, because like I was saying again, that Jones County Jail has their own set of laws and their own rules that they want to abide by, and I learned that the hard way. You know what I'm saying? Because they cut off my phone sometimes. Like, they wouldn't let me, like, I had people really telling me when I was on the phone with them, like, stop, you know what I'm saying, chill how you talking, because they're listening to all your phone calls because they want to know who you are. Kiki said the same thing. They're going to be listening to your phone calls because they want to know why you got so many people from Boston calling. Who are you? You know what I'm saying? They think I'm some drug lord or some stuff like that. And I'm like, no, I'm not. Like, they trying to give me a whole RICO case, and it's not even that type of time. So now I'm getting treated like you're trying to get something out of me. Like, they listening to all my phone calls, then they will cut my phone calls off to certain people. So it's like, dang, you know what I'm saying? So, man, that jail is really, you know what I'm saying, out of whack. And I still, every time I come on here and I talk to y'all, man, I'm trying to tell y'all, there be weird stuff that be happening later on during the week, because it's Monday, right? So the first show that we did, part 1, I talked about it, right? Soon as I talked about it, I'm not going to lie to y'all, Wednesday, I got pulled over. I'm like, oh, man, let me make sure I tell my probation officer, because I don't want no, you know what I'm saying? They try to tell me that my lights wasn't on, but I got a brand new car, so the lights are automatics, whatever. I'm like, all right, come on the show, do part 2 again. They pulled me over. So my probation officer's like, it's not just a weird coincidence. And I'm like, I don't know what to think of coincidences anymore. I'm just going to always think these fools are just on my back, or just, you know what I'm saying, on me. She's like, yeah, that's how I ended up not being able to do the Dublin house no more. Which is, you know what I'm saying, it kind of sucks, because there's just certain bars or certain areas my probation officer doesn't feel comfortable with me being around, because, you know, police are still police, you know. And I said it when I was in there, like, y'all all wear blue, y'all all still bleed blue, even though if it's brown down here and black and blue and yellow over there, either way, all these police stick together, you know what I'm saying? So it doesn't matter what color or whatever they say, they all stick together. So, and it was crazy, because when I was in there, right, let me tell y'all about the moment I went kind of crazy. I kind of lost it. I call it a Kanye moment. I had me a Kanye moment, okay? That's how I had all the lint and stuff in my hair, right? So I was able to you could only get one blanket. And as I told y'all in part 2, I wasn't able to get none of that. They wasn't trying to give me that. So we had one girl come in. She was coming down off of meth, because meth is big down there. So we in there, and she's on the floor, and she's like, you know, having withdrawals and doing all, like, getting cold. First thing they're like, yo, Live, it's going to come out her pores. She's going to start smelling. I'm like, oh, no. Shh. she gotta go over there. Like, she gotta go somewhere else. Not, you know what I'm saying? I realized, I'm like, dang, I'm not trying to be mean, but we kept ringing the bell for the officers to and the COs to come down, you know what I'm saying, to help this girl that's literally having withdrawals. And I'm like, all right. She ended up being down there for like 3-4 days, and I'm like, oh man, someone has to tell her, or I'm gonna have to tell her to get up, and she's gonna have to go get in the shower, because you know what I'm saying, like, not only that, the shower is gonna help, I thought, you know what I'm saying, put some cold water on you or whatever. So we get her in the shower, they get her in the shower, they're like, yeah, Live, that's smart. And I'm like, oh shoot, they're listening to me. So this is when stuff started getting weird, y'all, because I'm like, all right. After she gets out the shower, they try to give her some snacks. And I'm trying to tell y'all, we get commissary on Thursday. These ladies eat, okay? Because that's all there is to do is eat. Their commissary is done by like Friday, Saturday. So I'm like, oh, y'all some greedy women in here. But like I said again, ain't nothing else to do but eat. So boom, I got extra commissary. Shout out to Frenchie. Shout out to DJ Lady Lee, who definitely held me down with the commissary. The thing was, I ended up getting too much. So I got Frenchie giving me commissary. Then I got Lady Lee giving me commissary. So now I got like 48 packs of noodles. I got extra hygiene pack. I got too much stuff. So now I don't know if y'all be watching the shows and stuff. Now I'm getting a tiny bit. I'm getting a little bit like worried. Like, wait a minute. I don't want too much of this stuff, because now it's going to look like I got store, and I don't want store, because now I got all this extra commissary, and now y'all want to trade with me to have some of my snacks. But then I got people that's in my section, and I got to make sure that they're not eating my snacks, and I got to give them. Listen, I didn't have time for that. I didn't want to do all of that. I wanted to go, but that's how they working in, because somehow, some way, Jones County Jail wanted your money, okay? You couldn't even get regular snacks and stuff on your own. You have to wait every Thursday, first of all, okay? And then, like, if you wanted certain hygiene stuff, it wasn't available for you to get it. You have to have somebody on the outside order it for you, and that was probably like $25-$30. So it's like, I'm really thankful for the people that I did have in my corner. And since we're on that, I could get a little bit juicy of the people that I thought were in my corner and just disappeared. And you know what I'm saying? Y'all gotta understand that's tough. Cause I'm trying to tell y'all, this jail wants every part of your dime, from your phone calls, from your text messages on the tablets, from you eating. Like, everything costs. Plus, they're getting money for you being in there. So y'all gotta imagine people not knowing that you're in there, right? And then you can only reach out to certain people, and then the certain people that I were able to reach out, now they're, you know what I'm saying, they're taking it out their way, their day, to even contribute to me and what I got going on. You know what I'm saying? Like, they didn't have to give me commissary. They didn't have to give me hygiene packs. Like, I got a coffee pack. I got some noodles, some hygiene stuff. You know what I'm saying? Like, every week, you know, Frenchie and Hobby was really trying to make sure and that, you know what I'm saying, I had some commissary. Then shout out to my homie, my friend Liz. She made sure that, you know what I'm saying, I had some money on my books to make phone calls, and I can do video visits. Shout out to little Norvia. She was able to put money on my tap on my video calls. That's how you get visits. That's like as physical live to live you're gonna get is $3 visits. So definitely shout out to them, you know what I'm saying, able to do those visits. Now, the only reason why I'm not saying nobody else's name is because a lot of the people that I thought contribute didn't contribute. Then I was able to even look at the people in the GoFundMe who gave, and I've been trying my best to reach out to everyone who gave. And even if I didn't reach out to you, you know what I'm saying, if you're watching this and you see this now, I do thank you. Even if it was $1, 25 cents, anything that you gave, I was very, very appreciative. And there's a lot of people that saying, oh, I didn't know, I didn't see it. Like, all right, if you could see a video and you could see a TikTok, I mean, the way people were sharing the video, it's kind of tough, but it is what it is. You know what I'm saying? So I'm not mad at that. I could never be mad about that. The only thing that hurt was the people that I reached out to in the beginning. Those are the people that kind of was like, oh no, I don't want to deal with it anymore. To a point where I'm trying to tell y'all, I felt like a whole rapper in there. I just kept writing down stuff. And I knew that from some of the text messages that I was getting, which is $1.25 each, which is supposed to be 25 cents, but it ends up being $1.25 for each text message. Long story short, people were texting me. So I was texting a certain amount of people, like, hey, can I call you now? Or, you know what I'm saying? Just a quicker way for them to communicate. And it took me a while to even realize that I could text. But long story short, some stuff that people were texting me, it fucked my head up, bro. It really messed with my head. So I ended up rewriting it down. And sometimes people be like, yeah, you need to just forgive and forget. Like, you can forgive, but you can never forget. And I'm not even to be like, you know what I'm saying, some other type of stuff. It's like, I don't even got no beef. Like, there's people that I ain't even reach out to since I've been out, because it's like, dang, I know you knew that I was out. I know you see me posted and doing all that. Like, you're not even going to take the time to reach out. Or, you know what I'm saying? Like, hey, what's up? I heard you was out or anything. Like, I ain't heard from a few people in a long time. So that's why, I hate to bring it back, but the first GoFundMe, y'all thought it was kind of weird. And y'all like, well, I don't know if it was real. It seemed kind of scammy, the way that it was worded. And I feel like, yeah, there was a lot of effort behind that. And the way that things are worded does take a big, impact on things of how people perceive things. Because, yeah, you're going to read it and you're going to be like, all right, that's what it sounds like, and that's how I'm going to take it. So I can't apologize for if anyone felt, that it was scammy or anything. I am kind of thankful that it didn't raise as much money as that it was supposed to be raised, because I felt like the money that it was raised, and I'm going to say it right now because I know this person is definitely listening or will be listening. My thing is, if all that money wasn't raised, you know what I'm saying, and I know how much money exactly was raised, and I know that a big percentage of that money that was put into that first GoFundMe, DJ Lady Lee put in, because she DJ'd my brunch, and she put in a half of the money, right? So out of all of that GoFundMe that was raised, about 2,200 of it was supposed to go to get me out, right? So the money that was raised to get it out, once I got out and the bail bondsman ran off with the money, at that point in time, would you argue with me down that you need your money back? Honestly, do you guys understand what I'm saying? You gave up the money to try to help me out in the situation. I get into an even more messed up situation that's not under my control at all. And the first thing people talked about was, oh, I want my money back that I put in. In my head, I'm like, well, right now I can't pay you back because I'm in this messed up situation. So that's already, kind of fucked up for you to even be asking for. And then with the GoFundMe, it doesn't automatically go into the bank account. It takes a couple of days to go into your bank account, right? So my thing is, if you didn't even put up any of that money, when the GoFundMe came back into your account, why did you take it? Like, you know what I'm saying? You could have put some money on my books. You could have did any of that. And you understand what I'm saying? Listen, money is really can really mess up people's friendships and relationships. You get what I'm saying? And if anybody felt any type of way about the first GoFundMe, the only thing I can apologize for is you know what I'm saying, that if you did donate, reach out to me and I will give you your money back. please don't lie, because I can see in the GoFundMe, what have you. But I do feel like, you know what I'm saying, that first GoFundMe wasn't, I apologize. You know what I'm saying? The second GoFundMe that was done by Frenchie, I'm really appreciated for. You know what I'm saying? That was used to pay off my probation. So I thank each and every person that gave to that GoFundMe and that gave it cash, because, you know what I'm saying, it helped me get on my feet and pay the probation off. So yes, it is true, I paid off all of the probation fees that they told me, which was supposed to be about $1,600 plus extra fees and taxes, somebody's retirement fee, the sheriff's retirement fee. Like, it's a whole breakdown of what the probation fees was. And even when I asked them, because I had to call the lady in Georgia, and I'm like, I'm paying these extra fees, she's like, yeah, those are Georgia laws. I'm like, all right, I paid it off, now what? Now that I paid it off, now these folks is like, oh, we don't know what to say, we don't know what to do. But it's whatever. So when I was in there, like I was saying, I have messages for people literally saying that they don't want to be involved. You know what I'm saying? Like, literally just saying that this is too much. Tell your people that I won't be able to assist anymore. Like, that's what I was receiving in text messages for the people that I thought was the ones that are going to help me out the most. It's confusing from the outside about what's going on. I get 15-minute calls. I got to pay for those 15-minute calls. So there's not that much I could say in 15 minutes. I got to say it and then call you back, or try to text it and not text everything, and still letting you understand that my phone calls is being recorded and they're listening to everything that I'm saying. So then I have to be careful about what I'm saying. Like, no, a lot of people didn't understand that, and that was very, 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 very frustrating. Being inside, thinking that the people that I thought were most loyal to me and that I would reach out to them first, that they would have my back. But, you know, you can't force anybody. Once again, you know what I'm saying? I am very grateful for the folks that have helped me, who is helping me now. I was able to put my pride aside and literally ask for help. So at the same time, I am saying thank you, you know what I'm saying, for everybody who did help, you know? So it's like, you didn't have to help. You didn't. Everybody got their own lives. Everybody got their own stuff that they want to deal with. You didn't have to. So I thank you, and I appreciate the people who did help and when you could help. You know what I'm saying? It's no beef. The only beef I got with is with the people with Jones County Jail. Free Kiki. Also want to give a shout out to Seven, aka Annie. She's getting sentenced. I think she got about 6 to 12 years under her belt, and she just had a birthday in there, so she turned 22. So y'all say happy birthday, to Seven. She's in there, and with them locking Kiki back up, her and Kiki are in there now. Also want to give a big shout out to Gina. Gina was in there. I told y'all Gina was the one that was holding me down, and all I had to do was give her coffee. Yo, people didn't like Gina because they felt like she was loud. You know what I'm saying? And she wasn't loud. It's just she's coming down off of meth, and she's used to being a certain type of way outside. You know, them clear folks is a little bit different down there. You know, everything is country. You messing with people that run around and chase raccoons with their bare hands. So it's like, I understood how she was, and she really helped me out. There was sometimes, like I said again, I had my Kanye moment when I just needed some music, or needed to be outside and get some air, because it was just cold, just freezing cold in there. So the shorty that was coming down with the withdrawals, who was on meth, before she left, they took her blanket, they washed it and gave it to me. So I'm like, oh, okay, bet. I was kept complaining about how cold it was. They like, you from up north, you shouldn't complain that it's cold. It's snow up there. It's a blizzard. I'm like, it's not snowing right now. It's actually like springtime, but whatever. So they give me the cover. I put the cover, I'm wrapping the cover over my head. I'm like slashing it around. I'm making like designs, tucking it under my arm. Like every day I had the blanket on, totally different. And my thing was, like I told y'all in part 1, we had another Johnson in there, and her name was D, okay? And D washed herself with bleach. She was schizo. And she washed herself with bleach in the shower. When she went to the bathroom, she took the bleach with her and she rinsed herself with bleach after she uses the bathroom. So I was bunking with them, and D was so cooked up and crazy. Anytime that she rang that bell, they would answer her. She'd be like, these people are knocking underneath my bed and I need y'all to come check it out. And they would come. And I would really be upset, like, are you serious? Like, they know that she's not all the way there. They know she's schizo. So, when I got the blanket, oh, yeah. I was like, well, I'm going to act crazy, too. Forget it. Then put the blanket over my head. Fuck it. Started just sitting there. I was rocking, just rocking. They're like, Live, you crazy? I'm like, just looking at them like I was in Lord of the Rings or something. I went ballistic, okay? I was walking around, just flapping it around and just going in front of the camera and was like, why don't you let me go? Why don't you just let me go? I'm going to write a letter. Like, I'm pointing at the cameras because the cameras got audio and visual. So I'm like talking to the cameras. Like, I know y'all hear me. I know you hear me. Let me go get my phone. Can I get a request form? And I know that I probably shouldn't have did that, but my logic was that if I was to act a little Kanye and kind of get on, D's level, maybe they would let me out, or maybe they would, you know what I'm saying, like answer when I'm ringing the bell. No. One day, I'm sitting there, they cut off my phones and they're cutting off tablets. Nobody can use the tablets. They wouldn't let us go outside for a week. Now, women are starting to go crazy right along with me. Everybody's pacing now. We don't know what to do. You know what I'm saying? I'm like, I gotta do something. I'm like, you know what? I'm trying to tell y'all right now. Y'all make me some coffee, because we call it regular coffee or shitty coffee. So I told them, you make me some shitty coffee so I can use the bathroom. I'm going to just shit on my hand and throw it on the walls. Maybe they'll let me out. They're like, yo, live, you can't do that. They're going to put you in, like, the hole. I'm like, for real? Because D's getting away with it. She washes herself with bleach, bro. She walks around with her bra around her head, talking about, I don't got time for none of y'all putting crosses on my bed. We're like, what? She would take tampons, because them you can only get like 7 on one day. You can only get 7. So she would take the tampons and make a cross on top of her bed. We used to be like, yo, D, what are you doing? Like, what is happening? She's like, nope. Y'all not, I'm prayed up, blessed up, then I stay up. And I'm like, okay, this is like the loudest snoring in my pod area. And I'm like, I'm trying to tell y'all, it's like, damn, I gotta really deal with this because she's really schizo. So it's like, okay, if I ask schizo, are they gonna answer me? Are they gonna let me out? I'm just going straight crazy in there now. I'm like, I'm telling y'all I'm going to shit on the walls. They're like, no, Live, don't shit on the walls. I'm like, all right, fine. I'm going to take the bucket water and I'm going to throw it. They're like, no, Live, chill. I'm like, bro, I don't know what to do. I don't know what to do. But I know one thing. What I shouldn't have done was have that blanket over my head. I'm trying to tell you, I had lint all in my dreads when I got up out of there. Like, I don't know how Kanye do it, but I had that blanket stuff all in my head. It was disgusting. And I don't know. I was just going a little bit too crazy. And I'm like I said again, I'm not blaming nobody, but I couldn't get no phone calls. I couldn't go outside for a week. I couldn't get no air. I still wasn't eating, and I still wasn't using the bathroom. So everything was just, and sober. Like, I'm being sober. So it's like, Am I going through withdrawals? I ain't never seen the nurse. So what is gonna happen? Bro, I lost it in there. I didn't even know what to do. Jones County Jail sucks because you pay for the nurse. So you go to the kiosk, you pay $5, and when you pay $5, you fill out, like you type it in, what's wrong with you, what time the incident happened. It's like an incident report, but you're requesting to see the nurse. But the nurse only comes twice a week, and she comes after 4:30 p.m. And like I told y'all, they see the men first. So myself, I done paid $10 to see the nurse. Ain't never seen the nurse. Don't even know what the nurse looked like. So I'm looking at everybody else. Man, let D put in the nurse's form, though. She gets on up out of there. She asks for extra meds. None of these folks is taking the meds right in front of the COs. She go off. She crushing up the meds and snorting it. I'm like, boy, if I went crazy, I'm supposed to leave because everybody else is leaving. No, it didn't happen like that. It didn't happen like that at all. It didn't happen like that. Not even a little bit. Let me tell you, you end up just valuing a whole bunch of stuff. Water, regular water. You know how bad when it's a bottle of water, just a regular bottle of water, instead of just drinking the toilet water? Nah. So one day, because we still couldn't go outside, right? Tablets go off at 10:45, but they were messing with the tablets, so we really couldn't do nothing. These motherfucking girls, they go, hey, how about we make a fort and tell ghost stories? I'm like, yeah, okay. The CEOs, they supposed to come down and check on us. They walk back and forth to see, you know, if anybody doing drugs, making sure nobody fighting. Girls were sleeping with each other in the beds. It was crazy. So we're like, nah, I don't know how we gonna do that. Mind you, I told y'all again, these cameras is audio. They definitely listening. Did these folks come in? The police came in at like 10. Okay, lights go off at 10:45. They came in at 11 o'clock. They strolled up and down. These folks planned on making the fort at 11:15 on the dot. They said, everybody come in the back with your mat, and we're going to have a fort, and we're going to tell scary stories. I'm not believing this. I didn't grab my mat because I didn't believe it. So CO comes in, they take the walk, they take the stroll. 11:15 on the dot. Did they not? Everybody scurries in the back. Like I tell you, it's 1, 2, 3, 4, 5 rows, right? We're in the 5th row where there's only one camera, but it's not facing that way. So it's like, you know, you can't really see. So that's where everything usually goes down. Did these motherfuckers, they laid out all their mats. They all had their sheets and their blankets, and they put it over their bunks. Then they had the broomstick on the end in the corners, holding the sheets up in the air over the bunk beds, right? Over the bunk beds to make it dark. Then they had the front half of it covered with the covers like I had over my head, the thick covers, so that way no light was coming in at all, because even this right here, that meant lights out. Like, you know what I'm saying? Then the biggest people, like they did this shit before, one was in one corner, then the other one was in the other corner, and then there was like 2 in the middle, like right there, and they're literally holding up the end part of the sheet like a roof. Like they were literally, like they did it before. So they holding up the sheets, and then I'm sitting on the bunk bed, so it's like all the coloreds were one side. Sorry to say it like that, but that's exactly how it happened. All the coloreds were on one side, and then across from us were most of everyone that like did meth heavy, so because they all hung out together, so it was all of them over there. And then like everybody that like had schizo was kind of like in the front part. They were apart in the fort, but not really. all 27 women was in this car in the biggest fort I've ever seen in my life. And they start telling scary stories about a woman that committed suicide there, and she committed suicide in the bathroom, and that's why we didn't use one of the bathrooms. And they're like, yeah, if you even go there right now, you're probably gonna see her spirit just walking on around in there. And then here you go, some of the girls, I seen her. I want to say, I seen it too. And now I'm just like, bro, what? I'll take a shower at 2-3 in the morning. Are they seeing me? Maybe it's me they're seeing. I don't know. But I felt like maybe it was me that they're seeing. But whatever. They're telling ghost stories about that. Then they start talking about how everybody's related and who kissed who and who slept with who and who is kissing cousins. And that's how I found out that the sheriff was related to one of the head COs, and then one of the deputies was married to one of the cooks in the back, and then like one of the inmates was cousins with one of the judges that was sentencing this all. Then you got folks that was related to the bail's bondsman. You got folks that's related to the tow company. I'm like, so all of y'all are related? All of y'all are related? That's what scared me. It wasn't the scary story about the lady that committed suicide in the back and the ghost. No. What scared me was the fact that y'all telling me that all these folks is related. I don't like, that's what's scary to me, because I'm trying to get up out of here. Man, they start telling more stories about they have a lake down there, and there's a house that lives on the lake, right? So with the house living on the lake, you have to be on a boat to go to the house. But they're sitting there talking about how some of the boats don't make it to the house, and they all took the inmates over there. Sometimes the inmates have to go over there to chop down the weeds. I'm like, bro, so y'all get to leave? Like, when do you get a job and you get to leave? Because I would have definitely tried to escape. Like, everything that they were talking about, I barely was paying attention, because I'm paying attention to other things. Like, y'all are all related, and y'all go outside. Like, how y'all get to go outside? They're telling me that you go outside, that's how you can get access to the drugs and bring the drugs back in. So I'm like, oh, so y'all know we don't get checked properly when we come in. They're like, oh, yeah, no. She doesn't, no. She likes girls. Who likes girls? Who? Miss Officer Hart? No. I'm sorry. Officer King. Officer King likes women? What does that have to do with anything? My whole head went right back to when I got arrested and how she didn't tell me to cough or do anything. I could have bought contraband in there. I still had my piercings in my ears. I told you I still had my gauges in, and I still had my earrings above my gauges in. I had on black socks and a black tank top because she didn't check me properly. She actually turned around. I said I was going to tell on her. She actually turned around while I was getting dressed, which you're definitely not supposed to do. So that is understandable how the contraband even gets in there. And you know what I'm saying? It's just like they worried about saying that they feeling like I'm some type of drug lord, or treating me like this is a drug RICO case and I got possession and all that. I don't got none of that. You get what I'm saying? You're treating me like that when you really have folks in there that are doing drugs and can't wait to get out and do some more drugs. Like, you know what I'm saying? Like, in that fort, I learned more about these women and their mindset, their mind frame, like what they think is okay down there, what they think is acceptable, and how they should be treated in a facility like that. Like, they think that that is okay. It's not okay. It's not okay to be treated like that, especially as a woman. You know what I'm saying? Like, okay, I told y'all, yeah, we got Miss Woods in there who is, who killed someone. So, all right, we get that. And I'm not saying that, she needs to be rewarded or anything. I'm just saying that she may have deserved to be in there. When you actually have people who, like me, didn't have no reason to be in there, and now I'm getting treated totally different versus the folks that are schizo, that is in there doing meth, that are in there because they want to be in there, because they want to bring drugs in there, because they want to be back in there and have drugs accessible to them or their friends that are in there. Man, there was one time I was locked in there. It was probably like my second to last week, and they had some woman that they were calling her New York. And I'm like, why they call her New York? They're like, she says she from New York or Chicago or wherever. I'm like, first of all, y'all don't even know the difference between Boston, New York, and Chicago, whatever. This woman comes in all riled up and loud and screaming, and she's like, yeah, they got me, it's okay, I said I wasn't coming back, I just said I was gonna get high regardless and forget about my probation, I don't even care about my probation. I'm like, oh, she got a little accent, I don't really see her being from New York. So I go back in my bunk, and I'll tell you, my boom boom room, that's what it ended up being, my boom boom room. Shout out to Moo, who made my boom boom room. So I go back to my boom boom room, and I'm like, I don't even want to deal with it, because first thing down south people want to do is compare this person from New York to you. Like no, I'm not from there, I'm from Boston. So after she calmed down or whatever, and she came over, and they're like, oh, I heard that they call you Boston. I'm like, yeah, and they called you New York. I'm like, what part of New York you from? She gonna say, oh, at the mountains. I'm like, oh, okay. I'm like, how long you been here? She's like, 14 years. I'm like, girl, you're from here. That's why you have that accent. You're from here. You know what I'm saying? And she was just very almost happy to be in there. She's like, I'm about to get my 3-course meals, and I'm about to have my place to sleep. But even though she had to sleep on the floor, she was okay with that. And it's crazy that the women in there don't understand, like, that's not okay. To live in those type of standards, to live like that, that's not okay. You get what I'm saying? So it's like, I definitely want to start being a advocate to the women that are incarcerated. You know what I'm saying? No matter if you're in jail down south or up here, either way, like, you know, you shouldn't be treated that way, women in general. Now, it's tough because, like I said again, Georgia has their own set of laws, so it's like, I ain't even trying to go to war with these folks. The only thing I want is my stuff, you know, gone and dismissed. My probation is like for an extremely long time for no reason, and neither side, Georgia or Boston, can kind of even figure it out. They feel like the probation doesn't even make sense to them. And my head is like, if it don't make sense to y'all, why would you think it makes sense to me? It don't make sense to me. Like, I don't want to deal with this. So it's like, as soon as either we can make sense of it or we can get rid of it, I'm pretty sure I can go in front of the judge and, you know what I'm saying, and try to represent myself and have them try to dismiss this. But right now, I need some help even trying to break down what this stuff is, what they're actually trying to stick me with, because it doesn't make any sense. And because I was in there and never seen a public defender, I'm paying the public defender fee, and I've never seen the public defender. Yo, they had court on Thursdays and Fridays, right? Those are the 2 days that they have court. They don't have court no other days. Wednesday is supposed to be the get out day. Like, you're supposed to actually get release day. That's their release day. That's also the day that the public defenders are supposed to come and talk to, you know what I'm saying, us that are in there. All of the inmates are supposed to talk to them. Whoever is defending you at that time, they're going to let you know what your charges are when you have to go back to court, what your probation stipulations are going to be. Not once did a public defender come and talk to me, to a point where we all got the letter saying that we were going to go to court. So that's when they hit me like, oh yeah, you're going to talk to the public defender because you got your Zoom court date. I'm like, bet. I'm excited. there's about 6 or 7 of us that has the same court date that we're supposed to go to court. So we're like, oh, word, we should all have the same get out date. And then they're like, first, the public defender has to speak to us. So I'm like, all right, do y'all not know every last one of them got called to speak to a public defender? And I never got to see the public defender. The public defender never came back in. Nobody never called my name. I stood right there by the door with my Kanye cover on my head, waiting for a public defender to come talk to me. And they talked to everybody else but me, to a point where the inmates is like, Live, you went already? I'm like, no, you see me here in the same spot. You know I didn't go nowhere. They're like, no, that's crazy. You're supposed to speak to a public defender. I'm like, I know. I filled out the application. I called the public defender's office because now I know he's gone for the day. I call. I'm like, hello. I say my name. They're like, oh, we don't have your application. You never filled out an application. I still got the application right now, y'all, because like I told y'all, to make copies, you just had to rewrite it on your own. The CEOs ain't going to give you a copy. So I filled out a public defender form, and I filled it out twice. I gave it to them, and when I called them, they're telling me they never received my public defender application to speak to a public defender. What? I have it. I still got it. I'm like, I still got it. I make sure I kept all my receipts. So that's why I'm like, the inmates themselves said, no, that doesn't make any sense. I'm like, why y'all keep saying that it don't make sense? I know it don't make sense. Here we go. I have the public defender form right here. Can y'all see? You do a request for a Georgia public defender for standard counsel's application for public defender services. I put the application date on 4/27. The date of the arrest was April 19th. The date of the offense was 4/27. Oh no, date of offense. Yeah. I put, you circle if you were in jail, you put your name, you put your address. They ask you for your marshal status. They ask if you're employed. They ask, do you receive child support, your income? Do you receive military things that you owe? If you're on probation and already have to pay, or any unusual expenses? Are you disabled? Do you receive unemployment? They ask you all of that. I filled out all of that. Then when I called the public defender office, she told me she never received the application. But little do they know, like I said again, I made a request and I wrote down the officer that I gave the public defender form to give to them. So when that CO comes back on duty, I go, I never seen a public defender because they said they never received your application. He was like, nah, who did you give it to? I'm like, what do you mean? You gave me the form. He was like, yeah, and you didn't give me back the form. You gave it to another officer. And I'm like, you're right. I had the officer's name down that I written down. He was like, yeah, you should have gave it back to me, or write attention Sheriff Moody. I had to write attention Sheriff Moody. How come when I just give it to the CEO, they just give it to the office? No, they never did that. And when, like I said again, so I even put the public defender, Lynn Myers. That's the public defender that I was requesting to even see and to take my case. By the time he ended up having a conversation with me on the phone, because I kept calling the office, they transferred me to him. He goes, I'm going on vacation tomorrow, so one of my assistants are going to have to take care of it, or you're going to have to wait when I come back May 16th to deal with it. So now I got to wait for you to come back from vacation, but I already paid you and did the application. Look, this is the preliminary hearing when I first got it. A Zoom meeting on May 3rd at 9:30 a.m. And that was on the 27th of April that they gave it to me, right? So when I go and do the Zoom meeting for court, I don't got no public defender. Why? Because I didn't speak to nobody and he's on vacation. So now what? Oh, sorry, we can't deal with your case. You gotta wait for another court date. I gotta wait for another court date when I know I put in the application because I have a copy and the date that I did it. The application date was on the 27th. So I already have it down. Nah, Jones County Jail, like I said again, do what they want. But I have the receipts and I have the proof. So it's like, I just need a lawyer to see that, because at the end of the day, I didn't want to plead guilty to come home. I just wanted to come home. And I know I was talking to some people, and some people were just like, you probably could have had a little bit more patience and waited it out. That's true. There are times when I'm sitting there and I'm thinking, yeah, maybe I should have had a little bit more patience. But then there's a big part of me of like, well, y'all wasn't treated how I was freaking treated in there. Sometimes not getting phone calls. Then with me driving down there, because I drove to Georgia, the 18 hours. So imagine me driving down there. My car is impounded, right? And if I don't pay, it's going to get repossessed, right? They're going to take my car. So, and then how I'm about to get back home. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, I'm thinking about that too. Like, well, I got to be able to get up out of here and have a way to get up out of here. Because don't forget, y'all, watch part 2. They took my driver's license and said that they lost it. Or they couldn't get in touch with the police officer who had my driver's license on the day of my arrest. So I got mad stuff going through my head like, all right, well, y'all don't got my license. And like, I'm getting arrested for what? When I got back in there, I went even harder of writing down everything that was happening. So on the 29th, I asked the inmate, because one of the COs was saying that they took my tags. After my second arrest, one of the COs was saying that they probably took my tags off. And I'm like, why would you take my tags off my car? Like, you know what I'm saying? So I had to have an inmate go call somebody to get them on the outside to go drive over to the tow company to take a look at my car. And that was on the 29th, 5 p.m. Asked the inmate to have someone to drive to the 49ers tow company to check. The person stated they did not see the plates on the back. Because remember, I told y'all, if y'all listen to part 2, when I got out, the tow company and the tow man that owned it, plus deputy, was there. They pulled up at the same time to arrest me. Then he told me to pay for the tow, made the dude drive my car outside of the tow. I paid for it. Then he rushed and bombarded me and arrested me again. So in my head, I'm like, well, why did you make me pay to get the car taken out when you know that you were about to arrest me? And I know I just asked you where you were about to arrest me and you didn't say nothing. You told me to handle my business. I'm asking for them to even show that body cam. Like, why would you tell me to take the car out of the tow if you're about to arrest me? Why not let me leave it in there and let the money pile up, right? So on the 29th at 5:09 p.m., I had an inmate have somebody go drive and look and see about my car that's on the outside of the gate. Because at that time, when it's outside of the gate, the man that owns the tow company said it's not under, you know what I'm saying? He doesn't have no control of it because everything inside of the gate is safe because it's inside. I'm like bugging out because now I'm like, why is my car on the outside of the gate of your tow? Like, so the person stated they did not see plates on the back. On the same day, a friend stated that they called to put phone minutes and refused me of receiving calls because I received a max of $300 per week. But this is a brand new booking. Because I'm telling y'all, I got arrested, got out, Had to go back in. Car standing on the outside, right? I'm trying to figure out what's going on with my car. I have it right here. They called to put minutes on my phone. Jones County Jail denied it, refused me of receiving calls because they said that I received a max of $300 per week. But the first week I was in there, I got $600 on my phone. So why would they refuse me of receiving phone calls? And I have it right here, 429. I wrote down literally everything while I was in there. The next day, April 30th, no video visits were allowed to me all day. I couldn't receive no video calls. Bad enough, they're already saying I can't receive any money to do any phone calls. And I'm trying to tell y'all, my head's turning like, well, how I'm supposed to check on my car? I just was told I don't got no plates on the car. The car's on the outside of the gate. Now I can't do no video calls. Now I can't do no phone calls. Bugging out. The same day, April 30th, no tablets were allowed for the day. No tablets, no phone calls, no nothing. Right before I'm like, we're trying to figure out what's going on in my car. Now all of a sudden everything gets shut off. I can't make no contact with people. We can't call nobody. I'm like, oh, see, this is weird, man. That same day, I'm like, fine. Let me put a request to see if they have an update on my ID. April 30th, no update on ID. Still. May 1st, I put in an inmate request form to Sergeant Moody asking for an update of driver's license. Same day, May 1st, 12:25 p.m., I requested another public defender form. Another one. That same day, May 1st at 2:43 p.m., I requested another public defender form. They didn't even want to give me a public defender form. I told y'all, when I called the public defender's office, they didn't even have no record of my application. Now these folks don't even want to give me a public defender form. May 1st, 3:53 p.m., requested public defender form. So I started making the request at 12:25, 3:53, requested public defender form. May 2nd, 11:01 a.m., asked officer to take public defender form once they gave it to me. So earlier that day they gave me to me. Here we go. And then at 11:01 I asked the officer to take the public defender form. May 5th, 9:35 a.m., I requested the police report and requested a form. Officer Hart is the one that I requested the police report from because they told me that I couldn't bring any of my paperwork on the pod because it might have drugs on it. It might have why can't I bring my paperwork back there? I asked again for a police report and another request form. On May 5th, 10:11, an inmate gave me a request form. So the CO still never gave me the request form. On that same day at 10:27 a.m., Officer Baker came on the pod, kept looking at me, and made me uncomfortable and did not have on a body cam. Now, Officer Baker is the one that called my personal cell phone, which I don't know how they got that number still, and told me that I needed to return my property back before 8 p.m. or he was going to do an arrest warrant. That's who Officer Baker is. Now, Officer Baker also kept saying he wasn't going to arrest me, and if I would have brought the property back, then I would have been good to go. But 20 minutes before the time that he told me, he still had the officer come arrest me. Right. On May 6th, 10:15 a.m., I'm skipping. May 4th, 10:58 a.m., I just took fingerprints. Mind you, I got arrested on April 19th. First time ever me taking fingerprints was May 4th. On May 6th, 10:15 a.m., the officer stated that I cannot receive the arrest warrant until the following Monday. Because once again, I'm trying to ask for an arrest warrant to figure out why can't I be let out an OR, right? they told me that they can't give me the arrest warrant until Monday. Mind you, they have the photocopy right there. They giving all this other paperwork out. They could have gave me a copy, but they chose not to. Made me wait. All right. On the 8th of May at 8:11 a.m., again, requested info and a request form that I requested on May 5th. I asked again Monday on May 8th. 10:35 a.m. I asked for an update on request form that was filled out from Officer Jones. 10:58 asked Officer Stanfield the update on the request form. I'm writing down the officer's name. I'm writing down the time, everything. On May 8th at 12:33 p.m., I called the public defender's office to speak to secretary. The secretary again states no public defender will be coming to visit today, and they still haven't received my application. So even when I talk to my probation now, she's like, oh, well, if you talk to your lawyer or talk to your public defender. And I'm like, I don't have a lawyer. I don't have a public defender. Like, they won't even give me information if I'm supposed to return back to court or anything. But if I don't return to court, if I do have a court date and I don't return to court, they're talking about that they're going to arrest me again. But I don't have any paperwork, or they didn't tell me a court date. So now, with Kiki being locked up, y'all got to understand in my head, and I'm hoping that, you know what I'm saying, y'all watch this and you understand, I'm literally still asking for help, because at this point, Jones County Jail is making it very, very clear and making it known that they can do whatever they want inside of their jail. And if they want you back, they could find any reason for you to come back. Any reason. Just like they had made up a reason and pretty much setting me up for me to get arrested the second time. Like, you know what I'm saying? I believe that they have the power to do, you know. Now, the best thing, though, is I'm glad to be home. I'm very, very grateful to be home. And I get it all the time from my friends. Like, they be like, girl, don't panic. Like, stop worrying because you're home. You're home. You know what I'm saying? And I'm like, yeah, there's a big part of me that's like, yeah, there's no reason for me to worry, because I am back home, you know, this is where I'm from. But if I'm from here, right, which I am, you know what I'm saying, and me being home and me feeling like I don't have to worry, is if they take the Georgia stipulations off. Like, if they took it off, or if I had a lawyer to even look at this and be like, well, this doesn't even make any sense. You stole your own property and then got your own property back. I'm like, yeah, so that shouldn't even be a case, right? That's what I need to talk to somebody about, like, or someone that even understands, like, the wording that they use, because I just feel like they use certain words for people to not understand, you know, or they word it in a way where it feels like it's covering their tracks and covering what they did. Because all the paperwork that I have, it's incomplete. It's not filled out correctly. Like, the times of my arrest, like I said in part 2, does not match up with the booking times. None of that is happening. You know what I'm saying? On top of me being in there and literally having signatures from these inmates that were witnessing, you know what I'm saying, how they were threatening me to go in the hole, or, you know, me not having the opportunity to talk or have any video visits. It's like, I'm glad that I have all of this stuff down. I'm glad that I was sitting there writing down as much as I can. I end up realizing why a lot of rappers come out with all these songs, because you don't have anything else to do but sit there, reflect, think, and write. And you're not even supposed to have a pen. The pen is literally, pen gotta be no bigger than this, little small, just the pen, and that even is considered contraband in other jails. So it's like that's all they give you. So you just end up writing. So I told y'all about the audio with the video, the cameras and stuff being audio. Not too long ago, before I was about to get out, one of the feds in there, shout out to Bird, that was her name. She made me my first log in there. She taught me how to make air freshener. I had a tablet holder. I had a boom boom room. Shout out to Moo. Moo made my boom boom room with the 2 covers, thick covers on the side. I got a thick cover in the front, towel on the front end with the sheet coming down, so that way no heat was in there, with my tablet holder, so I could put the tablet up there and listen to music if I wanted to, and had like a little, made like a nice little echo because of the way the boom boom room was set up. So that's what I'm saying. I had people in there that was looking out for me. I really appreciate it. And I know it was a lot of the females because they thought I was about to touch their butt and stuff, and that was not about to happen. Like, you know, wasn't even able to really wash properly, like the best that you really want to in there. So it's like y'all was really popping off on each other and popping. Yeah, they was getting busy in that jail. So it's like I wasn't even trying to do none of that. So I appreciate that what everybody was doing out of the act of kindness is what I was taking it as, because Moo made my noodles, 7 was making my noodles, and they both make it totally different, because 7 makes it with a little bit more water, and Moo she doesn't even have water in her noodles when they're done, but they're mad seasoned. So you're definitely gonna have some seasoned ass noodles if you get it from Moo. And that's why bodies was looking like that. Y'all got all that sodium, and that's where it went to, I'm sure. Okay. And Gina did my coffee, and shout out to Auntie Tammy. Auntie Tammy's the one that lives in my mom's complex. She's the one that hooked up like the ingredients for the nachos, because of the stuff that she was getting. Her and 7 made the nachos, so it was straight. You know what I'm saying? Definitely had some hookups in there. All the ladies was trying to get in my boom boom room. I could definitely fit 3 ladies in there. I didn't do anything with them, but I had 2 clear folks in there, and it was different. Some stuff I was entertaining because it was like we ain't had nothing else to do. But I'm trying to tell y'all, I know these cameras was listening and watching. So when we did that fort, bro, they never came down. And we was in that fort from 11:15, so around 11:15, and we didn't leave from out the fort until like 4:30 in the morning. And the way they like took the fort down, like everybody was like grabbed something and just snatched it down, like they've done this way too many times before. And then everybody just lay down in their cot back to their prospective beds like nothing happened. And then 30 minutes later the lights came on. I'm like, oh yeah, they did this before. They definitely did this before. That was probably the most interesting and fun night I had, is the fort. I'm like, dang, now I realize why nowadays people are like, dang, you snap everything. Because I was in there wishing that I could take a picture of what was going on. Like, the fort was crazy. You know what I'm saying? Like, the stuff that we did after dark was out of control. It's very hard to believe, but I'm trying to tell y'all it happened. So with the audio, this is how I feel like one of the reasons how I got out. One of the Fed folks told me so she came in there, she definitely laid down the rules. She said that we're not even supposed to be in there with Feds. We're supposed to be in our own area with the folks that got state. So anybody that had felony charges was not supposed to be around people who had the regular misdemeanors and regular criminal charges. So I'm not even supposed to be mixed in there with them, but they was trying to make me a felony by giving me federal charges. So that's how I ended up in there. But Bird, she was a real heavyset woman with glasses. She's been in there for about 20-something years, so she was getting jumped around, right? She came in there. She pretty much had at least more papers than I did. She was saying that she was really happy that I was writing stuff down. But as soon as I was able to tell her what was going on, I'm trying to tell you, she gave me so much information. She's the one that told me I needed to get a district attorney officer and have a lawyer call the DA's office for Jones County. She was the one that was telling me what to say to Frenchie and what to say to Hobby. She was saying, don't ask questions, tell them things, and don't act like you don't know. She was telling me about my constitutional rights. She was the one that told me that anything under $300 is a misdemeanor. So the things that I was looking up at the tablet was true. She was the one that was asking me to request for my first warrant so that way I could discuss it with an attorney. She was trying to give me a number for an attorney in Gwinnett County. She made sure that she was told me to express to the attorneys that I'm not on probation, didn't have a warrant, parole, or on bond, and that I don't waive my Fourth Amendment, which I ended up doing after. And then she was telling me also that when I first got arrested, that I cannot be searched without my consent. And I had a request to see the odometer meter to see about when they say, oh, you was doing this amount in this zone, you have a right to ask them to see what they clocked you as. I didn't know that. So she was saying the whole thing could have been a bad ticket, and that's how I can dismiss the case. She said, always keep text and phone log of talking, and that's when I started writing more down of my texts. She gave me the district, Jones County. She told me which hotel to go to when I got out. She told me where to file my formal complaint on the office. I ended up getting the officer's name that took my ID. His name was Joseph Caldwell. She told me to request to go before the magistrate judge. She asked me to be granted a bond. She told me about so much stuff in there, not to mention her actually making the food for me. She was like, oh, you're not going to eat the breakfast? All right. If you give me your breakfast when it's time for lunch, I'll make your lunch into a bigger edible thing that you can eat. Man, that log, man, it was potato chips. It's like 3 different type of potato chips with some cheese puffs in there as well. Then you have the noodles with hot pickle juice and sweet pickle juice, right? And she put the potato chips, she crunched it all up, and she made it into like a flat thing with some hot water, which made it real soft, which ended up turning potato-y, that made it into the outer shell, right? Then she put the noodles inside the middle with the cheese puff and some fried chicken. Like, she took the fried chicken and marinated it in creamer and sweet and low, which made some bomb ass honey mustard, because she put a little bit of mustard in there, creamer and sweet and low, and it made bomb ass honey mustard sauce. Okay, she put that in there inside of the noodles, put that on top of the potato bread, right, with the pickles. You sliced up some of the pickles with the chicken that we had from lunch. Then you get the package with the sausage and the cheese. She cut the sausage up with a spork, because I seen her do it. She put those chunks of sausages, whatever it is, with a little bit of the cheese inside of the middle with the noodles, and then she rolled it up. She put some other stuff in there too, I don't remember, but she rolled it up, then put some barbecue Lay's chips on top, crushed it up on top, and then got some of the hot water and put the roll inside of the hot water for it to kind of cook, and then cut it. Man, that shit was bussin'. Way better than the food that they was giving us, okay? Shout out to Bird. Because Bird, I told you she showed me how to make the air freshener. So my little boom boom room was smelling delicious, okay? And then she was the one that was watching my store that I had. So all I had to do was give her some chili noodles, the white pack. Y'all ever see the picante chili noodles? Well, her and her girlfriend, they've been locked up together for 5 years, so they've been getting transferred together. I gave them some hot chili packs so that way they can watch my store, and then gave her some of my food so she can make food for me. And at the same time, I didn't mind doing it because the information that she was giving me was very resourceful. So I was able to talk to Frenchie and talk to DJ Lady Lee like, listen, this right here, it says wrongfully imprisonment. Section 2, malicious prosecution claim. Section 51.7.40, a criminal prosecution which is carried on maliciously and without any probable cause and which causes damage to the person prosecuted shall give him a cause of action. I wouldn't have known none of that if Bird didn't hit me to that. She hit me to mad stuff. She told me to make my people call jail, the sheriff, explain the situation, tell them about the food situation, telling them how they threatened me to the hole. They held a family member on without consent. They gave me a time limit, told them all of that. I said, she told me the local Macon News, 13 WAMZ News, Fox 24, and 41 NBC, the local news places she was telling me to have people call. Then she gave me the whole breakdown of the Jones County Jail. Sheriff Reese, Sheriff Clark, I got their number. And the lawyer, Carl Casino was the lawyer and the DA for the city of Milledgeville. Like, she gave me all of this information. She said, did they ever read you your rights? I'm like, no. She said, did they take your inventory correctly? I'm like, no. They never even took my fingerprints until the 5th. She's like, oh, yeah, you got a good case, but the smartest thing to do is to fight it when you get out, not while you're in. Because when you're in there, they can do whatever they want. As I told y'all, they done cut off my phone and stuff. And cut off for me to even have any communication on the outside. So I had no choice but to believe her. You know what I'm saying? Like, she's been down this road before. So it's like, I have all of the information. I wrote it down. No fingerprint for booking. They never read me my rights. They told my family that I was only in there for 2 days for my second arrest. The officer that stated he didn't know who had my ID. He didn't want to call an officer on his day off because he might be shit-faced, is what he told me. Those were his exact words. Then it's just like, with me writing everything down, the questions that I had was like, could they even issue a warrant while I'm arrested? Because I asked the dude, like, man, I could have ran. Y'all wouldn't have been able to get me because you lied and told me that you had a warrant for my arrest, grabbed on me, messed up my goddamn wrist. You know what I'm saying? Like, being extra hostile for no reason at all, right? The arrest warrant, what it stated that it says the dependent makes the affidavit that a warrant may issue for the accused arrest. And I'm like, yeah, I'm going to keep saying it. If you didn't have an arrest warrant, there is no way that I should have been able to get in the back of that car. And then you guys didn't give me the arrest warrant until 2 days later, because I have the arrest warrant right here in front of me. I have the date and the booking and the time and all the stuff that they didn't write down that they were supposed to write down. I have all of that. Then on top of that, with the letter, the stating what the officer, how the officer felt like, he's saying that I was the only one in the booking area, but at the same time it was other people's property that's there. Like, I just need a lawyer to see this so y'all can see that none of this makes sense. It don't make sense to me. It don't make sense to my current probation officer. Like, I got the receipts. I got all of my notes down. I wrote down everything. It's like, I was told to reach out to the ACLU. They regulate what jails do, and the NAACP and all of these folks, but it's like they don't even want to deal with it because it's not in their state or it's not in their jurisdiction, or they're saying that this county is doing whatever they're supposed to do. So, I mean, whatever they want to do. So with them doing whatever they want to do, that makes me what? Just stuck in this situation? Because I call every single day to these probation people between 6:30 and 7:30 in the morning every day, even on Saturdays and Sundays. So it sucks. So it's like, no, I got a lot of stuff that I got to go through on the outside too. But I was going to read the letter that I was writing to the sheriff, right? Bird told me, after giving me all these other cool facts and stuff of what I was supposed to do, she told me to write a letter to the sheriff. And that was supposed to actually push things a little bit long. And I'm like, really? She's like, yeah. Now, I told y'all to make copies, you got to write it twice. So I wrote it down, like I wrote my little notes down, and then I wrote it down twice. But this is the actual letter, because as I'm writing it and reading it out loud, y'all, I swear to God, as I'm writing it and reading it out loud, after I wrote my final copy that I was going to give, that's when the lady came in and was like, oh, well, if you plead guilty, you can go home. And Bird said, yeah, because they didn't want you to give that letter to the sheriff. I said, what? She was like, yeah, they was listening to you and they heard what you was saying, and because they were going to get caught up, they came and took you out before you even sent it to the sheriff. That's what Bird was saying. So shout out to Bird, that was literally putting me on game, and I felt was very honest and was spot on, because I'm writing the letter and I never sent the letter to the sheriff. I have the letter right here in the copy. I never was able to give the letter to the sheriff, because as soon as I was at the end and saying it out loud, she came and she got me. And I just looked at Bird like, ain't no way. Ain't no way. I'm like, oh, man. All right. I was going to read the letter. Okay. Dear Sheriff Reese, but my name is, we'll say, Miss Johnson. Y'all know my name. Y'all don't. I'm currently an inmate at your Jones County Jail. I'm writing this letter asking for your assistance in moving forward with my case. I'm from Boston, Mass, with no other open cases or priors in this state or anywhere else. I'm hoping I could be granted a bond or be able to OR to return home to my family. My current bondsman is willing to work with me again as soon as a bond is posted. Money we can get together. My family is currently raising money for a lawyer for my misdemeanor cases, but I'm asking if the money can rather go to me getting home safely or probation needs. I'm hoping this letter reaches you so I can be provided a court date or any information. I'm willing to do whatever I need in exchange for your help. Thank you for your time. And by the time I wrote that and had people looking at and see how it goes, they're like, oh yeah, add this, add that. I'm like, oh yeah? So now we're having the conversation. In the middle of the conversation, one of the POs comes down. He goes, Live, you good? I'm like, yeah, I'm good. I'm writing a letter. He's like, I hope my name ain't in that letter. I'm like, maybe it is, maybe it isn't. He comes in, he strolls. I'm like, everyone's like, oh, this is weird. That's funny. I'm like, I know, because, nobody say nothing. He looks, he stands there. He's like, oh, you writing a letter? I'm like, yeah. He's like, you need me to bring it up? I'm like, no, I'm not done. Now, mind you, this whole time I've been there, I'm asking them, I got it written down when I asked them to take my paper, asking for a request form, asking for my arrest warrant, asking for this, asking for my affidavit, asking for all types of stuff. And they didn't want to give me nothing or send up nothing. But here I am about to write a letter to the sheriff. Now you want to take my letter and send it where? No. My public defender didn't even get that application, so I am not giving it to you. This is the revised letter that I wrote after the inmates told me to add a few things. Hello, my name is Ms. Johnson. I'm currently in Jones County Jail, which I believe I'm held under false imprisonment. I was pulled over the night of April 19th at an estimate 10:30 p.m., in which I believe was in Jones County, and I was told it was 30 minutes away from the Jones County Jail. A Caucasian officer pulled me over for being 5 miles over the speeding limit. When asked for a ticket, officer claimed he smelled a fragrance as if it was sprayed over a marijuana scent. When I stated there has not been any smoking in the vehicle and the fragrance was a smell from an automatic spray that was located in the back seat of the vehicle, the officer stated because of that smell gave him probable cause to search my vehicle after I stated I was not smoking and requested my speeding ticket to leave. Officer Caldwell again stated to exit the vehicle and belongings that were on my physical body, which was in my medium-sized handbag, was told to be emptied. He assumed a weapon was inside of my bag. I complied with the officer, who then called for backup. Officer found the marijuana in my possession under 28 grams only after when 2 other officers arrived and asked to search my handbag and my vehicle. All 3 officers stated I would be released with 2 tickets and they would conduct an inventory on the items in my vehicle. After searching and taking inventory of my items in the vehicle, the officer stated I would be arrested for substance to narcotics, which gave them a reason to roughly arrest me. Once I revised the letter and read it out loud, that's when the public defender's assistant came in. Hey, we're looking for Miss Johnson. Yeah, that's me. I'm sitting there just reading this out loud to the inmates. She comes right in there. Oh, come. Go talk to her. She said, if you plead guilty, you can go home. I'm like, that's it? She was like, yeah. I'm like, all right, guess I'm going home. Whatever. Mind you, in my head, I'm like, dang, I really wanted to send this letter because the first letter, it was not detailed. You know, it was all scratched and all short. This one, I went in. I went and explaining everything in detail. So I'm like, oh, I knew right then and there. Yeah, they have just continued just be listening to me the whole time I was in here, listening to my phone calls, listening to my actual conversations with the inmates in there. They were listening to everything that I was saying. When an inmate, Tiffany Robinson, the infamous snitch, we found out that she was a snitch on the pod. Why? How did we find out? Because she was going around talking about my case. And she told one of the other inmates, and the inmates was in the midst of talking to somebody else, and I happened to overhear because I got good ears. So I approached her and said, excuse me, you said my name and you talking about my case. She said, oh, because Tiffany goes out to the administrative's office and gets to hang with the other COs and the police officers because she gets fed blueberries, and then she brings the blueberries back to the pod and give each woman 1 blueberry like it's a damn dog treat. Like, just because she goes out on the outside, she's the one that she took a nail clipper from the outside, brought it on the inside, and then when it was time for the women to clip their nails, everybody was about to get maced because they're like, oh, we already got clippers and it wasn't returned. Yeah, because Tiffany got it. But when everybody was asking who got the clippers and what they were talking about, she was sitting there looking stupid like she didn't know what we were talking about. Until when it was time for them to come in and mace us down, and she's like, oh, I don't want to get maced. I don't feel good today. Like, what? She was like, oh, yeah, it's on what's the name's bed. Like, gave passed the buck to a whole nother inmate, and then the inmate's like, I've never even had it. We just looked under my bed and everything. Like, everybody was already looking looking at other people's stuff. And she had it the whole time. That's how we knew that she was a snitch. So I approach her like, yo, inmates are talking about that you're talking about my case, Tiffany. And she's like, oh, I can't tell you nothing. I'm like, wrong answer. You know about my case, so you know if I'm going to court, you know about all that. Oh, I can't tell you that. I can't disclose that information. Then got up all in my face, and I'm like, listen here, okay? Don't let this city life, you know what I'm saying, mess up your head real quick, because I don't know what y'all heard, but we're way faster than y'all, and I will knock your whole block off, and I don't even want to try to go there. She's like, well, please don't threaten me, because that would be the last thing that you want to do. And I'm like, oh, why would it be? Because what type of power or ranking that you hold that if I talk trash to you, because you're talking about my case, that you're actually going to get the POs, the COs to do what? Like, what's happening? How do you have that type of pull? So I started doing more research about her, and they told me, yeah, she works in an administrative office, so she tries to tell them what's going on the inside so she can get extra food and snacks. So she came back that same day with the extra blueberries, and I was like, I thought I asked you, did you know about my case? And you told me no, but yet you're telling it to other inmates. She's like, because I don't want any problems. I said, first of all, you said earlier that you can't say nothing. Now you're saying you don't want no problems, but you're making it a problem, Tiffany. Like, what do you know about my case? And she's like, I can't say anything. And I'm looking around like, girl, well, meet me in the 5th cut. So we go all the way in the back when I tell y'all where we had the fort at, where the cameras can't really see. So she's all in my face, and she's just like, all I know is they're intensively watching you, and I seen you on camera when I walked by that they had the camera directed at you. And I was like, so how come when I asked you, you said no, but you're telling other people out there, and if the cameras and all that can hear you, then why are you talking about my stuff to other people? She's like, well, just you need to be careful of who you talking to. And I'm like, what are you talking about? She's like, yeah, people are giving me information about you and your case. I said, no, they're not, because I'm not talking to you. Yo, when I mean, listen, we're not even going to go there about what happened in that situation. All right. All I'm telling y'all now is Tiffany Robinson was the snitch that was in the pod. She was talking about not just my case, but other people's cases. Like, she just knew too much. All for blueberries. So I just kept calling her a stupid blueberry bitch. And I didn't even, you know what I'm saying? It just, everybody got nicknames, and that was the nickname she had. But her name is Tiffany Robinson. Tiffany Robinson. And I'm going to talk to Kiki in 7. We say happy birthday to 7 again. I'm going to ask if Tiffany's still in there. Because Tasha, I already told y'all about Tasha, the one that was trying to touch me and be inside the shower with me, and then told me I was for everybody because I didn't want to date her inside the jail. She ended up snitching to get out early. That's what I'm trying to tell y'all. She wanted to get into a fight. She said that we stole her socks. Make sure y'all go back and listen to that part where Tasha went crazy over some socks. But when she went crazy and started yelling and screaming and made it seem like she wanted to fight, she would always do it in front of the camera. Or if I would move a little bit closer, then she would ring the bell real fast. And I'm like, y'all are scary. Like, I'm not understanding what's going on in here. And I didn't want to do nothing too crazy to get an extra charge. You know what I'm saying? I was just trying to do what I needed to do, make sure, you know what I'm saying, nobody was trying to be disrespectful, and then kept it pushing, you know? And like I said again, I already felt like I had a target on my back because I had a lot of commissary. I had all these noodles and snacks and hygiene stuff, so it's like coffee, and coffee's like golden there, and I didn't even want to drink the coffee. So it was like I'm trading and stuff off. So either way, I still got people walking back and forth, pacing. Schizo, Shorty, D, going back and forth. And you got Karate Kim, who's schizo, and she's talking to herself. And then new people is hanging around in my cart like they knew I had extra chips and snacks and stuff. So it's like then dealing with 2 snitches. It was too much. too much. And the one thing, like I said again, I didn't want to do was catch another charge to be in there longer, because the mistreatment was bad. And I'm thinking about, getting out, and I already lost a lot. So it's like, I'm glad I didn't lose a lot, like too much, and would have lost my whole mental, lost everything. You know what I'm saying? I would have lost my mind. So a lot of people probably see me on Facebook. Yeah, I joke around, I do stuff like that, but my mentality definitely is different, and my focus right now is still trying to have a conversation with someone. That's why, again, I am doing these videos on YouTube. I am putting it out in the public. You know what I'm saying? Because I feel like I can connect with somebody. And a lot of people are trying to send me into the direction of talking to a lawyer or an attorney that is in the Georgia state. But I just feel like a lot of, when it comes to education wise, I feel like we're top notch. So a lot of stuff that, it just makes me think, because I'm like, a lot of these lawyers that have these different degrees, and it's only good for Massachusetts. So it's not even that great if you want to travel or do any of that. But there's got to be a group of people that deal with outside cases. Like, I know I'm not the only one that has to deal with a transferring from another state, and probation from a whole nother state, and a case from a whole nother state. Like, I know I can't be the only person. I know I'm not. So it's like, I know there's got to be some type of lawyers, public defenders, attorneys, civil rights activists, somebody that deals with out of state cases, or even know or understand what, what goes on in Georgia. May not have to be that specific county, but at least understands, yes, Georgia does have these laws, and because this is the law here and this is the law there, this is what you can do and this is what you cannot do. Like, I need like a whole break it down to me so I can be very understanding of what's going on, because it sucks when you don't understand. And you have these amendments, you have these rights, but then when they say, oh, well, your rights are going to be taken and you don't have these rights, or these amendments have been waived because of X, Y, and Z, then what? You know what I'm saying? So it's like, no, I am going to continue to still look and seek for help, because I don't want to do this for so long. It's not something that I feel like I deserve to go through, or I wouldn't wish it on anybody. You know what I'm saying? Like, it's not something like, oh, well, you did X, Y, and Z, so those are the consequences that you have to take for doing that. No, that's not what the case is here. Like, that's not what it is. It's not like, oh, I was sitting there busting down 85 in the 65 lane, and no, I know what's right and I know what's wrong, and I know what I did right, and I know what, what they did wrong, and how everything else leading up to that, even going inside of Jones County Jail, and the mistreatment in there for women in general is a problem. Not just me. You know what I'm saying? It's not just, it's a lot of women down there in Georgia, in Jones County Jail, are dealing with that. They really are. So, but right now, I do have to just worry kind of about me, because if I am able to travel like how I was before, and just get up and go, I can talk to more people. I can let people know, hey, yeah, don't don't go this way, go this way. Or if there's any other resources that the people inside don't have access to, maybe there's a way to put all that together so they can have those resources, because they are losing their mind in there. Because that's what I did. I almost lost my whole mind. Mental is not there. You're not able to do anything. And it's not like other jails. Some jails in Atlanta, it's like, yeah, you have to get up, you have to make your bed, you have to, you know what I'm saying, fold your sheets, make sure it's folded, and, be out of your bed. Here in that Fed place, no one's telling you have to get up unless you have to get up and take your medicine. You don't want to eat, you don't have to eat. Like, you know what I'm saying? It's like, there's no academics in there. There's no structure in there. It's like you got some books, but the pages are ripped out because they smoking, or you got cards, but they're missing some of the cards because people are ripping it or using it or doing drugs on it or rolling it up so they can do the drugs on it. Like Bibles is ripped out of there. You can't even bring a Bible in there. So there's feds people who had a Bible and can't even bring their Bible in there because people were putting drugs inside of the Bible and messed it up for everybody. So it's like you have limited access to you can't do nothing. You can earn points to listen to music and watch movies, and then some of the movies in there is traumatizing. You got Ice Age and Ice Age 2. You got all these kids movies on there, and I'm like, you got parents and mothers that are in there that can't see their children anymore. That got newborn babies. Like, that's triggering to them. That they got Disney movies on here. Like, we're not all grown. Even the 18-year-old, shout out to Layla, she didn't even want to watch that stuff. Why do you have cartoons and family-oriented stuff on here? Like, that's not triggering to these women that can't see their kids for like years and months at a time. Like, you should have more uplifting things or more adult things. You don't even got no black cinema on there. Like, none of that. You know what I'm saying? So it's like, and then some of the movies and stuff is old entertainment. They don't refresh it and put new stuff on there, new movies on there. The only thing new they put on was like the Bob's Burger movie, and they didn't even have Life on there. Like, it was just a lot of movies that I felt like they should have had. Under TV shows, it was like, what is it? The Raisin, no, it wasn't Raisin Cane. It was some weird stuff, but it's nothing that can uplift your spirits or even be relatable or anything. So you have no structure in there. You get up if you want to. You eat if you want to. And that's it. You do drugs or you fight. You don't even know if you're going to go outside. You don't know if you're going to be able to have your tablet. Like, you don't know anything. So all you have time to do is sit there and think either about the things that you want to do or the things that you just can't do. So again, I appreciate everybody who did help, but it's like the folks that didn't help and ran off on the money with GoFundMe and all of that extra stuff. It's like, I didn't expect that from a lot of people. I didn't expect anything, but I didn't expect the people that I thought would help not to help. You know what I'm saying? Like, it already sucks. Like I said again, I had people trying to reach out to people and you didn't even know who they were. So always look at your message requests. That's all I can say. Like, look at your message requests. Like, don't try to defriend everybody. I know there's scammers out there, and I know it's tough. Like, people's Facebook accounts getting locked out, and I don't know. It just made me just think about all of that stuff. Like, as many people that I know that tune in, that write on my wall, that likes my stuff, it was like, at a point I was expecting more, but then again, it's like, can you even expect more? And then it's like, and then you got people taking advantage of that because people were saying, oh, this person was only posting you for clout or just so they can get some recognition. And I'm like, dang, in this type of situation, I became that much out there where it's like, you want to use my situation to gain popularity, because that's not what it is. I ain't looking for none of that. I'm just looking for a lawyer, an attorney that can help me go through this paperwork, listen, or maybe watch the stories. You know what I'm saying? Let me tell you from beginning to end. Look at my receipts. Look at my paperwork. Look at my letter to the sheriff. Just, you know what I'm saying? Look at my warrants. Look at the affidavit report. The court date. Look at all of that stuff. Just break it down to me, help me explain it, and I just want to fight it so that way I can get my life back and be able to do the things that I was doing and just, you know, be regular. Not looking over my shoulder, not getting harassed by the police, not calling every single morning, you know what I'm saying, the random drug and alcohol test and all of this other stuff. I'm glad that I'm not on curfew. I'm glad that I'm not on an ankle bracelet. So, but I can't just get up and do a lot of things like I wanted to do, or do a lot of events that I want to do. So it's like, I just, if you know somebody, or if you know somebody in Georgia or in that area, just let them know I am still reaching out and looking for help. That's it. Because that's all. I think this whole case is crazy. It could be thrown out. It could be dismissed. So I'm not having this on my record, so that way, continue doing on the things that I was doing and the goals and paths that I was trying to get and accomplish. So, I got stories and tales for days, you know what I'm saying? And it's like, there's a lot of bad stuff that happened in there. And then with me connecting with a lot of the women, definitely, some of them still call me on jail ATM. If you guys always wanted like a pen pal, or wanted to help folks that are incarcerated or anything, I could definitely hook you up, because it sucks not having anybody to talk to in there, just to chat with, just to text, stuff like that. So if anybody, wants to do any of that, then, let me know. I can tell you where to go on jail ATM to see if you would like a pen pal, or you wanted to contribute to any of the inmates in there. Shout out to Kelly. I wanted to shout out to Kelly. Kelly was supposed to be released like 2 weeks after me, and they were messing with her, and she wasn't doing too well. She was sick. So one of the inmates hit me up and let me know that, have Kelly in our prayers and whatnot. And free Kiki, like I said again, they locked her back up. So as I had said in the beginning, y'all, it's kind of tough to know that, if Kiki was locked back up and she tried her best to do the probation like she was supposed to, then, I get like, all right, I'm looking over my shoulder too, because I just don't want these folks messing with me. And, I just want to continue DJing. So for those who know, if you know somebody that need a DJ, keep them bookings coming, because I really, really appreciate the bookings. The bookings is what's making me, it feels better, because when I'm DJing, I'm in the zone. I'm not worried about nothing else. So it's definitely keeping me afloat. And then I also have something to fall back on to give to my probation officer, that I am, staying out of trouble, and I am, sticking to my DJing and trying to stay on the right path. So definitely keep them bookings going, especially in the daytime, because I'm not working or anything. And yeah, definitely I appreciate all the help and everything that y'all have done. I really, really appreciate it. And thank you guys again for tuning in to part 3. Not sure if there will be a part 4. I definitely will be giving you guys updates about what's going on. And let me know if you guys like story time, because, I got other stuff to talk about too. We could do story time of anybody else that's been incarcerated, or if you know any women that need some help, that are incarcerated, or was wrongfully accused of anything. We can get them in here and have that discussion, have an open discussion, just free, no judgment zone, and do it like that. But I do appreciate everybody tuning in, and make sure you follow me on Instagram to keep updated. And yes, I know y'all seen me, my arm with my little cast. It's not little, but yes, I tried to ignore the pain, and then the pain got worse when with the handcuffs being super tight and they flinging my wrist behind my back. So now the doctor's like, I gotta put this on and keep it on for a little bit. So y'all see me out here. I'm not handicapped at all. Not even a little bit. I just have to wear it to make sure my wrist is good. But yeah, they messed up my wrist. Messed up the inside of my car. I already told y'all they messed up everything. But they're not going to mess me up. So, again, I appreciate all y'all. Y'all are litty. Y'all were dope. Thank you again. And make sure you tune in to SparkFMOnline.com all the time.
Advertise your business, brand, or music on Spark FM. Contact us at sparkfmonline.com for more information.
Finally Home is a must-read, step-by-step guide that will equip any first-time home buyer